What up, everybody? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you another One Piece chapter review. This time it's for chapter 19. And, okay, I'm loving this one right here. Just to see that flashback, I see what people have been telling me, that when Oda does flashbacks that he doesn't reuse scenes. So I thought that was pretty nice just to get a really in-depth, like that flashback could have been a chapter in itself. So that was pretty nice to see that. I actually have not started watching the One Piece anime. I really want to see this animated now. Like, just to see Buggy and Shanks. I wouldn't mind a whole episode of just them as kids together and on the crew leading up to Buggy eating the devil fruit and Shanks saving his life. Like, miss me with the Luffy stuff. You could probably stretch that out to where you can get a whole episode of Luffy and Shanks. I'm not Shanks, Luffy and Buggy fighting, but I really wanted to talk about this. I'm not really going to walk through the chapter from beginning to end. I really want to talk about Shanks and Luffy because I'm reading this chapter and I'm looking at Shanks' design, and I didn't notice this when I first read Shanks in the first chapter. Luffy and Shanks look off, like they look alike. Like there's a similarity to their designs. And then when you look at their mannerisms and how they behave, Shanks is behaving a lot like Luffy at the age that Shanks is in this flashback. And what I mean by that is he's very strong-willed. You know, he's easygoing. He's a bit goofy. You know, not a care in the world. And I'm looking at the face, particularly the way that the chins are drawn, and there's a similarity there. Like the whole time I was watching, it was like they look the same. And I don't know how much of that is just Oda's design, because what I've noticed is his characters tend to have kind of long necks. So maybe I'm just, you know, I'm not used to the design, but I'm really strongly feeling like there might be some other kind of connection between Shanks and Luffy besides like the whole mentor thing. And the other thing that I really started wondering is, how many devil fruits did Shanks steal? You know, because if I'm not mistaken, in the first chapter they had more than one devil fruit. And I know that they went off somewhere and, you know, that was part of the booty, but I could have swore there was some type of mention that they had already had a devil fruit. And once again, we know that, you know, it's worth 100 million berries, but I don't know, like it just seems really interesting to me that Shanks gets associated with devil fruit twice, and we're not even 100 chapters in. And just thinking about this from a writer's perspective, there's no reason for you to continually draw comparisons between one character and an item and closely associate them, because both times a devil fruit user has shown up around Shanks, Shanks has had to jump in the water to save them because they couldn't swim. And both times the devil fruit has been introduced, it's been introduced as some type of booty that Shanks either captured or helped capture. So I'm really interested to see where Oda's going to go with this, because I strongly feel like this is going to pop back up later. It has to, because, or maybe I'm just overthinking it. You know, I tend to do that because one of the things I do when I read something, I read it and I say, man, if I was writing this, I would do this. Or this is where I would go. So maybe it's I haven't turned off my own writing brain. I tend to do that when I'm working on some type of project. So maybe that's what this is. But I don't know, man. That's just really eating at me. Like my little alarms are going off. The other big thing about this chapter, you know, basically Luffy beats the shit out of Buggy. He's saying, you got spit on my hat that Shanks gave me. He's rubbing in his face, and Buggy's like, don't do that. And Luffy's like, well, it's your spit. That was kind of funny to see that. But you know, the chapter ends off with Nami, and she's like, oh, I forgot to get the treasure. So she's running off to get the treasure to make her escape, right? And Buggy is running towards her. Like he chops and flies up in the air, and he's got his knives, and he's like, I don't care how insignificant a fly you are. Nobody puts their hand on my treasure. Every treasure on the land is what I'm going after because I can't swim. Put my stuff down, right? And it looks like Luffy might not be able to get there to her. And I'm thinking either Zoro or Zolo, excuse me. I'm thinking either Zolo or those townspeople that were coming to aid their mayor. I think one of them is going to end up rescuing Nami. I don't think it's going to be Luffy. Then again, he does have that ability, that Gum Gum ability to kind of stretch out and grab him. But I think at this point, you got to raise the stakes a little more. And I think by putting Nami in danger, it really makes sense for somebody like Zoro to just pop up out of the air and kind of stop Buggy, because Nami's almost on that part to where she's, I feel like, gonna be part of Luffy's crew. So I'm really interested to see where this next chapter is gonna go. My chapter question for you is this: what did you think about my theory? Please try and keep some of those spoilers out. But am I thinking too much about like Shanks and the Devil Fruit and Shanks and Luffy possibly being related in some type of way? But that's it for this video though, man. If you like anything I had to say,